from Zhongzheng High School. Their project name is the TEALPRINT. Please welcome Team 33.
Hello everyone and welcome to TEALPRINT Corporation's quarterly shareholder meeting. For our friends of old, thank you for sticking alongside us for such a long time. And to our new friends, and I am especially delighted to see so many new faces here today. Welcome! Thank you for joining the TEALPRINT. For those of you who don't know, my name is Zephyr Wang. I am the CEO and founder of TEALPRINT Corporations. And today alongside me, I have brought two of my colleagues. This is Ryan Zhang, he is head of our energy development, and this is Brian Lee, who is head of our progress and initiatives department. To our new friends, and I hope you don't mind me calling you that, because here at TEALPRINT we don't think of ourselves as just a company, we are also a community. There are only two things to remember when joining a TEALPRINT Corporation's shareholder meeting. That's a long name, sorry, but the first thing to do is bring your brain, because there's a lot of thinking to do, and number two, bring some laughter, because here at TEALPRINT we really want your feedback, and we don't want to be a dull speech giver. Okay, so, might I direct your attention to the PowerPoint behind you, and let's see what TEALPRINT has in store for you today.
And these are the things we'll be talking about today. Then we'll move on to materials. Three types we'll be using for a structure. In our last sector, begin with green concrete.
It's me again. I know you hate my voice, but you'll be hearing it a lot today. So let's talk about green concrete here. Okay, so this is a graph of the materials used in building construction. And as you can see here, this dark green swath representing concrete stands at 60%. So it's not hard to infer that concrete is an extremely important material towards the building industry. For another reference, 30 billion tons of concrete are used per year. So now if you want a visualization of this, in 20 years we'd be able to build our own Mount Everest out of concrete. And why would it be important? It possesses such strengths as durability, versatility, and compactness. However, when considering the environmental standpoint of things, well, concrete doesn't really have a leg to stand on. Only another one. Negative effects of concrete. It causes greenhouse gases, uses a ton of water, and is generally destructive towards the environment. This is a picture of how Portland cement is made. This is the stage concrete is in before the hydration process. It might be harder for those at the back to see, so I'll just read it out loud over here. Step 1, limestone excavation. That's when the ground is dug up, and that causes environmental impacts. Step 6 is kiln, and that is when the cement is heated up, and often during these processes, things like coal or things like diesel are used, and obviously those cause a lot of carbon emissions. And further on, during the hydration process, a lot of water is used. This is a picture of Hualien, Taiwan's Taokem National Park. Really beautiful place. However, this mountain was carved out for limestone needs and became a casualty of the concrete industry. Okay, now that we've established that green concrete might not be such a great material, let's take a look at an alternative, namely green concrete. Okay, so what green concrete is basically concrete but made using eco-friendly materials. We'll be introducing 5 of them, 3 of them honorable mentions. These are green concretes that didn't really fit our criteria, but we'll just add them as educational purposes. Hempcrete, RAC recycled aggregate concrete, and mycelium concrete. These are because these are quite load bearers, and we want to build a multi-story building for our school. This is a picture of hemp. Cannabis sativa, you might know it a little bit more as its uses as medical marijuana. However, its usage in the textile industry and construction industry is quite long and quite historic. Okay, let's focus on our 2 main green concretes. Let's ignore what this means in British slang, and let's just call it, let's just say, pretend it doesn't mean anything, slag concrete. It utilizes a byproduct of steel manufacturing known as slag. It has the benefits of being eco-friendly, enhanced durability, higher compressive strength, and lower permeability. If you want to think of lower permeability, think of a block of steel, and if you think higher permeability, think of a block of a sponge. Drawbacks, it does have the potential for delayed setting time, a higher cost compared to Portland cement. The second one is called ashcrete, and ashcrete is a type of concrete that incorporates the usage of fly ash, a common byproduct of coal plants. Basically the same benefits and the same drawbacks as slag concrete. However, we do have to mention that it relies on coal plants, and as we all know, coal energy is quite bad for the environment, and we are hoping to replace it in the next few years or so. Okay, I'll hand it off to Brian, and you get to stop listening to me for a little bit.
Alright, a little bit of change. Let's look at something actually green. Centers? No. White is better. Okay. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, this is bamboo, famous for its green tall stalk and being PNS food. Next to know about bamboo, it grows in Asia, meaning it can be locally sourced in Taiwan. Okay, so here are some reasons why bamboo can function as a great building materials, and let's talk about eco-friendliness. Bamboo has the benefit of having thin hollow stalk, making it easier to cut down compared to trees. And also, bamboo is the fastest growing plant in the world. This makes harvesting and cut down and replacing bamboo comparatively easy. I'm going to have a joke here. So, you won't see bamboo working out energy any day, but my goodness, it hides quite a bit of muscle in its hollow frame. In fact, bamboo strength is comparable to steel. And there are also ways to improve it even more, and I'm going to say about the carbonization treatment, where bamboo is exposed in a high temperature and change some properties in it. Flexibility. This is another thing that stands on the side of bamboo. As being pliable, allows withstand with earthquakes. This is especially important in Taiwan. As our home country, we know that we are in the ring of fire, known as an area known as seismic activities. Furthermore, bamboo can be curved into different architecture styles. This is a building in Taiwan that is built with bamboo.
This is recycled steel. And before getting into recycled steel, let's look at the worst version of it.
We are not good at technology. Sorry.
Still. Still, it causes ecosystem collapse and damage to the environment. This is one of our important issues we look at. This is how iron is made. Mining for iron. This is how iron is made. Mining for ores causes environmental damage, and when heating up the ores, it causes carbon emissions. And here are some benefits of recycled steel. Firstly, it cost efficient. And secondly, it saves valuable resources. And lastly, it can reduce Taiwan's carbon dioxide emissions.
It's me again. I'm going to say this every time I'm going to talk, so you'll be hearing that a lot. So I did mention it at the front, but the reason why this was so important to us that we forego like our progress reports and our general statistics, and we move them to the pattern, check them out after the presentation, is that this is extremely important to us. The reason why We were given a grant by the government to build a school here in Taiwan, so we are extremely excited for that, and it fulfills two of our main motifs here at TEALPRINT. One is paying back to nature, because we focus on eco-friendliness throughout this entire process, and the other one is paying back to society. And all of us in TEALPRINT, we work hard to involve this into our everyday lives, and for me and Brian, paying back to society means that we volunteer at a school called Zhongshan Elementary. What we do, we teach little kids English and bring them on activities. But what we are going to focus on today is its eco-friendliness initiatives. Okay, so this is Zhongshan's rainwater system. Rainwater comes down from the roof, goes down these pipes and enters an underground pool that can hold up to 56 tons of water. And when it's needed, it can be pumped right back up. Zhongshan solar panels, this is only a small section of them. There are more on the roof, however, we won't allow clearance. What makes Zhongshan solar power panels so interesting is that it allows Zhongshan to be completely self-sustaining, and they don't have to rely on the Taiwanese power company for electricity. Furthermore, what Zhongshan is most famous for is aquaponics pond system. Water goes down this current, is sucked up for the plants and re-enters the current. Something to mention to all of you, what makes Zhongshan such a great case study is not that it's at the cutting edge of technology, rather it shows us what can be done with a little bit of heart and a little bit of passion. And that's exactly what TEALPRINT wants to emulate. Not too complex ideas, but simple ideas that can still make the world a better place. And okay, so a summary of what we're going to talk about in the next section: solar energy, water conservation, and aquaponics.
Schools use a lot of electricity. I think that's hard to argue, considering schools can have up to 2,000 kids. This is the graph of Taiwan's energy output. As you can see, we are quite reliant on carbon emitters. Next, just look about the manufacturer of solar panel. Before that, I'm going to say why are we doing this? We are going to, for our school, we are going to build our own energy grid, and we're relying on solar panels. So first one will be polysilicon productions. Second is extracted by sand. Of course, not any kind of sand. Like is there. The second part will be silicon is melted into ingots and cut into thin slices. And wafer will be dumped, and for the last part, there will be connected to cells and be shipped off. So as an engineer here, I will be focusing on the manufacturing of solar panel, and the rest of it I will let our CEO Zephyr to finish it.
Okay, so let's talk about innovation in solar panel technology, and we'll be focusing on three of them. Okay, so let's get into it. OPVs, organic photovoltaic materials. These rely on carbon semiconductors. And let's take a look at the benefits and drawbacks of them. We really love to look at these at TEALPRINT. Flexibility, it can be made ultra thin and flexible because it can be sprayed onto materials. Low cost, low energy processing and techniques compared to traditional solar cells, which need quite a lot of energy. Translucent, they can be incorporated into windows and skylights, so maybe one day the windows over there will have solar panels in them. However, the problem of OPVs is its efficiency. It's lower than perovskites and silicon, 10% compared to 20%. Perovskites replace the silicon layer in solar cells and absorbs the wavelengths of light. Some things to talk about. It can tolerate defects in the crystal. However, something extremely interesting to me when I figured out was that it can be customized to absorb different wavelengths. However, it does utilize things like lead-based compounds, and of course we all know lead is a toxic heavy metal. SIGs, this has four different compounds, 4 different elements in it: copper, indium, gallium, and selenite. And the compounds of these elements can absorb light and turn that into electricity. Its efficiency is comparable to traditional solar cells, and it performs better than traditional solar cells in low light. However, due to its materials and complex manufacturing processes, it's more expensive than traditional solar cells.
One small part I want to mention is water conservation. It's a simple way for schools to cut costs, prevent flooding, and reduce waste. And let's talk about aquaponics. Aquaponics is a natural cycle. Fish eat, produce waste, bacteria turn the waste into food for plants. Plants take in the food, clean the water, and the water goes back to the fish. This kind of system is eco-friendly. And this is one of our tech-driven solutions. Smart glass. It allows you to control light and privacy. And now we'll talk about these 3 things. This is how smart glass works. Smart glass, it has a special coating called silver oxide nanose battery. It allows natural light in, luxury rates, and contrast heat. It's obvious that the temperature in this picture is decreasing. And it can keep rooms cooler in summer and warmer in winter. And even protect things like flower near the winter. Technology. You might ask, what is a cross-limited timber means? A cross-limited timber, or CLT, is a strong wood made by gluing layers in different directions. And it is also eco-friendly and uses instead of concrete. AI. AI can help us do a lot of things. For example, AI can help us make energy usage more efficient.
Okay, so I was quite lucky to join our school, Zhongzhen High School, on a trip to Dunhai University to check out their carbon neutrality park. That's me. Really bad pixelation. Okay, so what they had in the carbon neutrality park, we probably mentioned 3 of them over here: solar panels, bamboo, and aquaponics. However, the last thing we'd like to mention for today, algae tanks. And why wouldn't we use algae tanks for things like air purification? It has a higher absorption of CO2 compared to trees, and it takes a shorter time to double their really quick time to double their biomass, and water usage efficiency compared to trees is quite high. Next page. Yeah, and it can even do things like air purification. It can remove air pollutants like CO2. It can capture and settle things like PM2.5 and bind and absorb heavy metals and prevent them from accumulating. Okay, a little bit of a conclusion. I'd like to share with you a word. No, not yet. I'd like to share with you a word of advice that I've learned from my many years in the business. I'm definitely not lying. Think small and dream big. Keep your feet planted on the ground, but your head in the skies. Although TEALPRINT has only been given a grant from the government to build 1 school building, what we've done here is show you a simple plan that can be adaptable and feasible to schools all around the world. Because if you want to consider sustainability, you have to consider it on the scale of the world. And frankly, one school doesn't really do much. One is a small, minuscule number. However, many, there is a lot of power in that word. And that's why we've devised such a three-ring plan. Okay, let's go through the 3 rings together. The larger ring, the outer ring. Maybe you're starting a school from the ground up and you don't have much infrastructure. So we've shown you 3 different materials that you can use. The middle ring, perhaps you've already got the infrastructure, but you just want to make your school a more eco-friendly place. Then might I suggest you invest in solar panels? Or perhaps you're in the center ring. Maybe you don't have funds, but what you have is passion. And obviously we have solutions for that as well. Because sustainability isn't something that should be confined to tax brackets, eco-friendliness in schools should not have to rely solely on governmental funding. And that's what TEALPRINT wants to give you. Sustainability for all. The TEALPRINT guiding you into a better future. Let's just pretend that we didn't have that many mishaps. Also, I think I know one of your questions already. Why didn't we design your school? We didn't really give you an exact layout of our school, and that's because I mentioned this a few times, but we are governmental. We have been given a grant by the government. We are not a private school. We do not have millions and billions of money to waste, so we have to rely on the most cheapest, most simple solutions that can still do eco-friendliness. And yeah, we don't like bureaucracy, but we have to live with it.
And that's for our presentation. Thank you.
Questions from our cousins? And your soul. Yes, Sharon.
So you are a company, you want to build government funding?
Yes, governmental funding.
Yes, but you would not only want to build school in Taiwan, you want to build school globally?
No, sort of what we have here at TEALPRINT. Right now we are working from the funding from the government, but if TEALPRINT expands even more, what we can do is venture into private schools funded by TEALPRINT corporations.
Okay.
It's a storyline that we made.
It would be nice if we can have some kind of like, if you want to help to build the environment, maybe there's some quotation, like how much it costs if we need your help or service for school building, or like if they want to reconstruct their classrooms, something like that.
Frankly, TEALPRINT has only been, our initiatives mainly are, we've mentioned it at the front, solar panels and other things like, little things like AI, but we were quite surprised that the government reached out to us and gave us this opportunity. So we're still working on what we can do for the future.
Okay. I don't have any question, but I want to say I really enjoy your presentation, because even this like technical issue, and even maybe you are nervous, but you really enjoy that on stage presenting, and I want to say thank you. Thank you.
I think you guys did a great job of giving us an overview of kind of the materials available for these kinds of projects. So that was, and not only that, but you do that in a very technical way, right? This is a STEM-focused event, so I appreciate the overview. This might not be a fair question again, but well, one of our other groups also mentioned hempcrete, right? So this product, do we know if this is actually legal to use in Taiwan? Because I believe you can't create it locally, so it would have to be imported. Is this a legal product to use in Taiwan?
Hemp is made from the stems of the cannabis sativa, and that by itself is not exactly, it can't really make medical marijuana from the stems.
Right.
At least that was what research told me.
Okay. Again, just because if you're looking for government funding,
Yes.
right, we want to make sure that maybe we have legal materials.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the government's not going to give you much money.
That's why those were honorable mentions.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Could explain what this means, and I'd like to lead you guys into realizing what joke we made. So, does anyone know what teal means? Yes, what kind of color?
Bluish color.
Greenish blue. Like green, blueprint. I thought I was really smart for that.
I think so too.
Does anyone want pamphlets, by the way? We have no budget for this. We just have a printer and dreams, so pamphlets, anyone?
I want it.
Right. There are little messages explaining.
Thank you. Yes, I want to get one here.